Glad to be here with you, Roxanne.
Likewise.
Just maybe first question, who knows Station F in the room?
Oh, who can
Wow,
hear us?
wow, that's bad. Roxanne, you have to introduce Station F.
I know, that is bad. Maybe they couldn't hear us. I'm going to ask again. Who knows or has heard of Station F? Who has been to Station F? Nobody. Guys,
Wow.
you're all invited. You are invited again, Lars. Come whenever you want. So Station F, it was mentioned in the intro, but it's the world's largest startup campus based in central Paris in France. So we have a 50,000 square meter campus dedicated to startups. So our main building, 34,000 square meters, houses 1,000 early stage companies that are taking part in 30 different startup programs. We have housing, we have a hotel that's coming, so we have a lot going on. And maybe just to give you a little bit of background, so we'll be celebrating 9 years next month. It's been a while. And we've really seen the ecosystem transform since our arrival. So 1.5 billion raised by our companies just last year. So that gives you an idea.
And you said it's the biggest startup campus in the world, but can we say that today is the biggest AI campus in the world?
I think we're pretty close. We're not 100% AI yet. We're actually, campus is about 80% AI, which is huge considering that we're generalist. But that's reassuring. There's still 20% of other topics other than AI happening, which is necessary. But actually, I think even historically, we have a lot of the major AI players as partners, even before this big AI boom at Station F. A lot of our companies, Hugging Face, for example, is one of the companies that was initially at Station F. And so we have quite a lot going on. And more recently, we announced a brand new AI program bringing together 16 of the leading AI companies earlier this year.
Yeah, so why did you launch this program today? And my question is, how did you manage to, unite competitors? Because in this program you have the few partners, Anthropic and OpenAI.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So first, why did we launch this program? FAI, we launched it in January, but it was kind of in the making for a while. First of all, we're really getting frustrated listening to founders in Europe feel like they have to go to the US to get access to certain people, access to certain capital, and also to be able to work with certain partners. And we just thought that's ridiculous because we actually have a lot of them already at Station F. So we built this program. I mentioned it brings together 16 partners, but I didn't name them. So to give you an idea, it's a lot of direct competitors: OpenAI, Anthropic, Mistral, Google, Microsoft, Meta. I'm not going to do the whole list for you guys. But actually, a lot of companies today, when they build, they're multi-LLM, they're multi-cloud. They're actually working with multiple of the competitors. So it does make sense for them to be there. And so this program provides access to the best tech stack, direct access to all of our partner companies, and also we're helping these selected teams get to 1 million in revenue within 6 months, which is something that a lot of VCs told us was lacking in the European market.
Yeah. So it's often said that in Europe we're very good at research, and we have a lot of examples such as Mistral, of course, but we struggle to turn that into a commercial success. So what, in your opinion, is missing, the missing link to allow our researchers to become like CEOs of great AI companies?
I mean, that's such a good question, and I think actually really nothing is missing. I think 5 years ago you could have said the infrastructure is missing, the capital is missing. Yes, there's still little things here and there in the market that you can tweak. I think we definitely need to address exits at some point. But I would say actually being able to build a global company that can compete on that level, well, it's happening. We actually have some that are starting to be recognized in comparison to the worldwide leaders. So I don't think anything's really missing. I would say I think Europe doesn't behave like Europe. I think a lot of the countries behave on a very national level. We need to really start thinking bigger, start collaborating across countries much better. And the best thing that I can do to illustrate that is a lot of countries will compare on a country level their success, their fundraising, their number of unicorns with the US. That's not a comparison we should be making. We should be looking at all of Europe.
But do we have enough funding in Europe? Or no, that's always the
That's
same question,
always the question.
again and again. But in AI, you need more and more funding.
But I will say that we're making a lot of progress in terms of funding. I think especially I've been surprised to see the European Union's new initiative for this late stage fund. I mean, I think we're starting to get the pieces. It's taking a bit of time and we could definitely accelerate things dramatically. And also we're attracting funding, which is something that we didn't do as much historically. So I think now we're seeing a lot of American, Asian, even Middle Eastern investors properly come and make sizable investments.
And beside funding, there's also the issue of infrastructure, of computing power. So how can hubs like Station F help startups access these critical resources and not just rely on American companies?
That's something that we're very, very conscious about at Station F. So we're in the business of kind of providing resources to early stage companies. So we're changing them on a regular basis. And I mentioned some of the partners earlier, so I won't list them again. But we're also conscious, especially today in the current global context, we don't want our companies to be country dependent. And we have started talking about this more and more. So we have American partners, European partners, Middle Eastern partners, African partners, Chinese and Asian partners more and more so. And so the idea is really to give the choice to our companies with what they want to build, where they want to go, but to encourage them not to be dependent.
So Roxanne, you've seen thousands of founders, back and forth. So do you notice a difference in mindsets of an AI entrepreneur today that an entrepreneur, 5, 10 years ago?
I mean, we were talking about AI back in the day, but a very different type of AI. I would say today the momentum matters more than ever, and I'm not, revealing anything that anybody here didn't know already. But because momentum matters, I would say people with experience, people with networks, actually are able to implement things much faster because they don't need to spend as much time navigating. So that's something that we're seeing. And then I also think that companies like Mistral, former research team, now heavily funded, developed a champion in Europe very quickly. That has inspired a whole research community that was pretty absent from startups a few years ago. So I think we're starting to see even new profiles coming to entrepreneurship.
And are they younger than before?
What's really funny is they're actually not. Station F average age has gone up in the past 2 years because most of these people are coming with lots of degrees, PhDs, research experience. They're not kids that are fresh out of school, which is what we were seeing more in the earlier years.
Okay, so we often say that in Europe we have the best talents in AI, we have a lot of resources, now we have funding, but what maybe verticals or trends do you see in Europe and maybe especially in France, because AI is very loud?
I mean, I think if you look at where the funding has gone, it's gone actually very, very broadly to a lot of different companies. So if you look at the biggest rounds of funding, we had Nscale in London, we had Mistral in France, we had Ligora, we had, I could name a lot of different companies, but I think when you look at where it's gone into infrastructure, it's gone into LLM, it's gone into defense, I didn't mention Helsing, it's gone into life sciences, bio AI. So I think actually that's where we have real opportunity. I think life science is something that's heavily under talked about. And so we actually recently at Station F launched 2 new programs in the health space because we think that's really a place where Europe is very well positioned to be a leader. And obviously defense is something that's just a necessity. So we want to encourage it more as well.
Yes, and that's funny because a few years ago, defense was like a really, really bad word.
Yeah, now it's climate.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Paul Graham. I'm sure you know Paul Graham as a co-founder of Y Combinator, because he did a speech. I don't know if you watched it. It was a few weeks ago in Sweden. No, he didn't come to Paris, but I'm sure he will come eventually. And he said that European funders should go to Silicon Valley even for a few months. Do you agree with that?
I love PG, but what? I mean, I have only respect for him, but I think the person I would like to quote here is Kitty Mayo. from Project Europe. She said something that just, I think it's one of the best things I've heard in a while. She said, yes, go to Silicon Valley, go to San Francisco, get it out of your system, and then come back and build. And I do agree with what Paul said. I think it's great to go see it, live it, understand it. I don't think everyone, I mean, he went on, I watched that speech, he went on a little bit and he talked about, you know, there's one epicenter in the world. It was Hollywood when it was cinema, now it's tech, it's the Bay Area. No, that's incorrect. I think that's dangerous, actually, to think that, because one is you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of resources, actually, that may be more adapted to the type of company that you want to build elsewhere. For example, bio and life sciences, San Francisco is not the leader in the US. It's actually East Coast. So I think, you know, it's necessary to kind of keep things in perspective. And I really encourage founders not to get blindsided by this, everybody needs to be in the Bay Area. I really don't agree with that. And I'm from the Bay Area, guys. I love it, but you can come back.
And where does an entrepreneur have to travel in Europe if he can't go to Silicon Valley? Do you think there's like emerging hub, and especially maybe in AI in Europe?
I think it's Station F. No, actually, I think we're starting to see a lot of very exciting hubs. I've been really impressed by the energy and the momentum in Athens. You can feel that a real movement is coming here, and I think this is kind of the groundwork for it, what we're living here today. But I would say other places that have really kind of risen to the forefront, obviously London is a historical leader, Paris is a historical leader, Berlin, Stockholm really kind of owning it right now. And then I also think we forget some of the research centers that we have in Europe that really compete on a global level, and we don't mention them, Oxford, Cambridge, Zurich. So I think we shouldn't be blindsided by just there's one location.
Mm-hmm. So I had a question about tiny teams, because it's something we're seeing more and more with AI in Europe and in Silicon Valley. Is it a strength for Europe or not to have these tiny teams?
Is it a strength for Europe? That's really hard to say, because once again, I think it depends on the type of activity of the company and what they want to do. We are seeing not smaller teams, but I think teams that are hiring, they're taking more time to hire. They're being a lot more thoughtful about, okay, if we hire someone, are they really going to provide the value that we want them to provide? So I think it's just a different type of hiring, maybe slower than what we've seen before, but we do have some AI teams that, because the momentum is going so fast, they're also just keeping up with the momentum. What I still think is taking a bit more time, I do feel investors are still not, I think their appetite to fund pure solo founders is somewhat less. I think they're just in this mindset of dual teams, you know, two, three co-founders, and I think that's something that probably is going to stay.
Okay, so you do not believe in just a solo company, a 1 billion solo company?
It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a mass trend. I think that's the main point.
Yeah, okay. So we have a lot of, rising stars in AI in Europe. You quoted Mistral, of course. We have Lovable in Sweden. We have 11 labs in the UK. I can't mention everyone, but what do we need to have more Mistral, more Lovable, and more 11 labs?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I mean, I think we talked a little bit earlier about funding. Does Europe need more funding? And I would say funding by itself doesn't do anything. It's really the people. And I think Europe has started recently to get it right by focusing on talent. And I think a lot of the countries are actually obsessed with bringing back the diasporas. No, I think we really have to think about how can we make this the place where everybody wants to come and build. It's really attractive. It's been incredible for me to be in Athens. I've had a lot of conversations with people that want to build new things in Athens, and they kind of shun, Athens is a great place to travel, it's sunny. They're like, oh yeah, that doesn't matter. No, that matters immensely. That matters so much, because bringing people to live and work here, that plays an important part. So I think, yeah, we should think bigger than just diaspora. How do we make this really the most attractive place? Because I think the talent component is where we get Arthur, where we get Anton, and I also think their previous experiences matter a lot. So sometimes we get a little bit uptight with, US companies are coming and investing and taking the space, but actually that's who trained Arthur, if you think about it. So I also think looking at where the people come from, where they have their experiences.
And do we need another AI campus in Europe?
Sure. Of course, we need all the campuses we can get. We got to get on the map. No, I think it makes sense not to divide a local ecosystem too much. We've had these discussions in Paris, where I think just if you want to build something, on the same scale as Station F, right next to Station F, you better be sure that it's not going to drain resources from one or the other. I think we're much stronger when we come together. However, I think building that in another European location or even elsewhere in France makes a lot of sense.
And I have a question about women, because that I know it's a topic you really care about, and so do I. And we are two women talking about AI on stage at a tech event. So do you see, I don't know if you have the same feeling, but at the beginning I was a bit worried because I was only meeting male founders in the AI ecosystem, but I don't know, it's been a few weeks now and I've been meeting a lot of female AI founders. Is it just me, or do you feel the same?
I feel that there's waves. So we had a wave at Station F where there was quite a few females in AI. It got calm, and you're absolutely right. I think in the last 2 to 3 months, it's coming back. I didn't actually mention any of the companies that participated in our FAI program, but actually one of the top performers is a female founder. She raised the largest round in the current batch, so she announced a 6 million round. Her company is called Lemrock, and they work with e-commerce players who want to move to kind of agentic commerce. So yes, I think we are going to start to see some really exceptional female talent.
So what can you say to, I don't know, female in the room that are not really, they're just hesitating to do AI?
Well, what's incredible is I've seen so many women at this event, and I think that anybody who's hesitating, know that right now there's never been a better time as a woman to launch a company. There's so many resources available that weren't available before. Everybody is conscious of diversity, building a company with diversity, bringing on diverse investors. People actually at Station F come to me and they go, actually, I want a female co-founder. Can you recommend someone? So people are actively looking for women. So if you are hesitating, you should absolutely not hesitate. And of course, Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but journalists also want to hear more from female founders as well.
Yeah, of course. And you don't need to be a technical founder to be in AI.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Roxanne, for coming to Panathēnea Festival today to talk about AI. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.